The Unseen Gauntlet, why humanity remains locked out of Mars. We have conquered the solar system with robots, but for humans, we are still locked out. Despite the hype, humanity still lacks a tested architecture to safely transport a crew to Mars and keep them alive. It is a profound gap in our technology and a brutal reality of our own biology. This exploration will unpack the critical barriers from the invisible ocean of deep space radiation and the stringent limits of life support to the unforgiving logistical clock of a multi-year journey and safe return challenges. Consistently highlighted in analyses from leading space agencies like NASA and ESA, alongside scientific bodies such as the national academies. The human longing to stand on Mars, ignited by centuries of telescopic observation and fueled by the stunning successes of robotic emissaries, encounters an unforgiving truth when confronted with the realities of deep space. While rovers like Perseverance and Curiosity have meticulously explored the Martian surface, transmitting breathtaking panoramas and scientific data that continuously redefine our understanding of the red planet, the pathway for human explorers remains obstructed by a complex array of challenges, fundamentally distinct from any mission undertaken in Earth's immediate vicinity. This is not merely a matter of building a larger rocket. It involves overcoming an intricate engineering and physiological gauntlet that fundamentally alters the operational paradigm of spaceflight. Leaving the protective embrace of Earth's magnetosphere exposes any spacecraft, and crucially its human occupants, to an environment far more hostile than even low Earth orbit. Within this vast, interplanetary void, the notion of real-time command and control, a cornerstone of every crewed mission from Apollo to the International Space Station, becomes a quaint anachronism. As detailed in numerous mission architecture studies from space agencies, the sheer distances involved mean that communication signals, traveling at the speed of light, can take anywhere from 4 to 20 minutes to traverse the gap between Earth and Mars, depending on their orbital positions. This light speed delay renders instantaneous dialogue impossible. An urgent question from an astronaut to mission control might receive an answer more than half an hour later, a time frame that could be catastrophic during an in-flight anomaly or a critical surface operation. This inherent communication lag, a core operational constraint, frequently analyzed in JPL's deep space communication planning, mandates an unprecedented level of autonomy for human crews and their systems. Astronauts on a Mars transit would, by necessity, operate more akin to robotic probes, making independent, critical decisions without the luxury of immediate ground support, a paradigm shift from previous human spaceflight models. Furthermore, the integrity of these vital communication links across millions of kilometers presents its own formidable technical demands. Ensuring high-bandwidth data transmission essential for scientific returns, real-time health monitoring, and even psychological support through family video calls, requires sophisticated antenna arrays, powerful transmitters, and a robust deep space network capable of capturing faint signals from such immense distances. The inverse square law dictates that signal strength diminishes rapidly with distance, necessitating significant power budgets and precision, pointing for antennas on both the spacecraft and Earth. Maintaining continuous, redundant communication pathways against the backdrop of potential solar interference, equipment degradation, or unforeseen cosmic events becomes an overarching challenge that requires meticulous planning and built-in resilience, as highlighted in engineering analyses of potential deep space network upgrades. The very infrastructure of communication, often taken for granted in terrestrial operations, transforms into a mission-critical subsystem whose failure could isolate the crew completely, exacerbating any technical or medical emergencies. Beyond the communication realm, the journey itself introduces a suite of challenges, often underestimated by those outside the space community. The vastness of interplanetary space means extended exposure to harmful deep space radiation, a primary concern consistently identified in reports from organizations like the National Academies and foundational to the NASA Mars architecture. Unlike the shielded environment of low Earth orbit, where Earth's magnetosphere offers significant protection, a Mars-bound crew would be subjected to continuous bombardment by galactic cosmic rays and intermittent, yet potentially lethal, solar particle events. Developing effective, lightweight shielding that can protect against this dual threat for several years remains an unsolved problem, impacting everything from spacecraft design to mission duration. Similarly, the necessity for robust life support systems capable of closed-loop operation for years, recycling air, water, and waste with nearly 100% efficiency, introduces engineering complexities that current technology has yet to achieve with the requisite reliability for human lives. Any significant failure in these systems, coupled with the communication delay, could easily turn a minor problem into an existential crisis. Therefore, the dream of sending humans to Mars, while inspiring, remains moored by a complex tapestry of technical and physiological hurdles that collectively form an unseen gauntlet, far beyond the intuitive challenges of merely launching a large enough rocket. The fundamental reality remains that despite decades of robotic success, humanity currently lacks the comprehensive, flight-proven architecture necessary to safely and reliably send a crew to Mars and bring them home. Beyond the relative sanctuary of Earth's geomagnetic field, the path to Mars plunges human explorers into an invisible yet profoundly hazardous ocean of space radiation. This environment is characterized by two primary threats: unpredictable solar particle events, or SPAEs, which are bursts of high-energy protons ejected from solar flares, or coronal mass ejections, and the relentless pervasive bombardment of galactic cosmic rays, or GCRs, originating from supernovae and other violent astrophysical phenomena far outside our solar system. Unlike SPAEs, which can be somewhat anticipated and mitigated with storm shelters, GCRs are a constant, highly penetrating menace composed of atomic nuclei stripped of their electrons, traveling at relativistic speeds. As extensively detailed in reports from the National Academies, including the seminal Vision and Voyages for Planetary Science in the decade 2013, 2022, and subsequent assessments of human spaceflight risks. Sustained exposure to these energetic particles poses severe health consequences for astronauts, ranging from increased lifetime cancer risk and central nervous system damage, leading to cognitive deficits, to acute radiation sickness in the event of a powerful, unshielded SPAE. The profound biological effects of such exposure are a central impediment to long-duration deep space missions. Current shielding technologies face significant limitations in protecting against this dual threat. While thicker spacecraft hulls can offer some defense against lower-energy SPAEs, the sheer penetrating power of GCRs often requires impractically massive amounts of material to provide substantial attenuation. Water, polyethylene, and other hydrogen-rich materials are known to be effective, but the mass penalties for surrounding an entire habitat and crew with meters of such substances are prohibitive for deep space launch vehicles. The very concept of the NASA Mars architecture hinges on minimizing overall mission mass, placing direct conflict with the demands for robust radiation shielding. Exotic solutions, such as active magnetic or electrostatic shielding, remain largely conceptual and are far from ready for flight-qualified deployment. Consequently, any human mission to Mars would necessitate astronauts enduring radiation doses significantly higher than those permitted for Earth-orbiting missions, a calculated risk that must be balanced against mission objectives and long-term health. From a deep space communication perspective, the implications of radiation-induced cognitive impairment or physical incapacitation during the mission introduce severe operational challenges. demanding robust autonomous systems and pre-planned protocols for medical emergencies, where real-time guidance from Earth is impossible due to light-speed delays. Concurrently with the challenge of radiation exposure, the very ability to sustain human life on a multi-year journey to Mars and back demands an unprecedented leap in life support system autonomy and reliability. Unlike missions to the International Space Station, which benefit from frequent resupply missions ferrying fresh water, food, and air filters, a Mars mission must be almost entirely self-sufficient. This necessitates truly closed-loop life support systems that can efficiently regenerate consumables. Water, for instance, must be meticulously collected and recycled from urine, humidity, and even spacecraft atmospheric condensate, with purification systems operating flawlessly for years. Air revitalization systems must not only remove carbon dioxide and other trace contaminants, but also produce oxygen with minimal waste, a stark contrast to current ISS systems that still rely on substantial resupply of oxygen and nitrogen. The same principles apply to waste management and, ultimately, food production, though the latter often relies on stored provisions due to the immense energy and volume requirements for robust in situ food growth. The engineering demands for such closed-loop systems are staggering. Each component must possess an extremely high mean time between failures, along with integrated redundancy and the capability for in situ repair by the crew, often without specialized tools or immediate access to mission control expertise. A pump failure in a water reclamation system or a breakdown in an oxygen generator cannot trigger an abort scenario when millions of kilometers from Earth. The autonomous reliability required far exceeds that of current terrestrial or low Earth orbit systems. As outlined in various NASA studies on long-duration spaceflight, the transition from open-loop, resupply-dependent systems to truly regenerative, closed-loop systems represents a monumental technological hurdle that directly impacts mission, safety, and feasibility. The sheer volume of data required for monitoring, diagnostics, and prognostics for such complex, interconnected systems also presents a challenge for deep space communication, as bandwidth must be carefully allocated between critical operational telemetry and scientific data streams. The core difficulty, therefore, is not merely in building these complex life support systems, but in demonstrating their unfailing, multi-year performance in the harsh, isolated vacuum of deep space, a level of validated autonomous reliability that current technology has yet to achieve. The true crucible of a human mission to Mars is not simply the outward journey, nor the time spent on its surface, but the unforgiving duration imposed by the orbital mechanics of our solar system, which dictates a mission spanning 2 to 3 years. This vast temporal expanse introduces cumulative stresses that push the limits of both human physiology and the enduring reliability of technological systems far beyond anything experienced in Earth orbit. The relentless march of time in deep space exposes crews to prolonged microgravity, leading to significant bone density loss, muscle atrophy, and cardiovascular deconditioning, as extensively documented by human research programs undertaken by NASA and ESA. Beyond the physical, the psychological toll of extreme isolation, confinement, and the immense distance from Earth, coupled with the inherent communication delays that sever real-time support, presents a profound challenge to crew cohesion and mental well-being, demanding stringent psychological screening and continuous support strategies. From a technological standpoint, the prolonged exposure to the deep space environment means every component, from propulsion systems to life support subsystems, must perform flawlessly for years without the possibility of resupply or immediate human intervention from Earth. The degradation of materials due to radiation, thermal cycling, and micrometeoroid impacts becomes a significant engineering concern. Predictive maintenance and robust in situ repair capabilities, requiring astronauts to be adept engineers and technicians, are critical, yet difficult to achieve with current levels of autonomy and diagnostic tools. The sheer volume of spare parts required to maintain complex systems for such an extended period contributes enormously to the launch mass, compounding the already formidable challenges of propulsion. Indeed, the propulsion requirements for a round-trip Mars mission are astronomical. Chemical rockets, while proven, are often too inefficient for rapid transit, forcing longer journey times to minimize fuel mass. This trade-off between transit duration and fuel mass is a central tenet of the NASA Mars architecture. Advanced propulsion technologies, such as nuclear thermal propulsion or highly efficient electric propulsion, are often cited as potential game changers for reducing transit times, thereby mitigating some of the physiological and logistical burdens. But these technologies are not yet mature enough for crewed deep space flight. The precise launch windows, occurring only every 26 months, when Earth and Mars are optimally aligned, demand an impeccable mission readiness schedule. Missing such a window can delay a mission by years, further exacerbating costs and risks. Perhaps the most formidable obstacle, often overshadowed by the initial excitement of reaching Mars, is the return problem. Safely bringing a crew home from the red planet is arguably more complex than getting them there. This involves executing a precisely timed departure from Mars, surviving another lengthy transit through the deep space radiation environment, and performing a high-speed re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. The entire return trajectory must be flawlessly calculated and executed, often relying on propulsive burns from engines that have been dormant for years in a harsh environment. The absence of robust, readily available contingency return strategies, as emphasized in analyses of ESA human spaceflight constraints, means that once a crew commits to a Mars mission, there is essentially no turn-back option in the event of major system failures or unforeseen medical emergencies for a significant portion of the transit. Unlike the Apollo missions, where a free return trajectory offered a passive safeguard, the dynamic nature of interplanetary orbits to Mars often precludes such inherent safety nets. The critical need for self-sufficiency and autonomous decision-making by the crew is paramount real-time intervention or emergency guidance from mission control. Due to the inherent communication delays, is simply not a viable option for critical return maneuvers or emergency situations. The data packets containing vital telemetry, crew health information, and operational directives for the return trajectory must be meticulously planned and transmitted across millions of kilometers, requiring unwavering reliability from the deep space network and the spacecraft's communication systems. Ultimately, the cumulative effect of extended mission duration, the logistics of sustaining life and complex machinery so far from Earth, and the immense challenge of the return problem collectively form the most significant unaddressed barriers to human exploration of Mars. The journey to Mars remains a monumental challenge, not due to a lack of ambition, but because the unseen gauntlet of deep space irradiation, the limits of life support, and the unforgiving duration coupled with the return problem demands a level of technological and physiological mastery we have yet to fully achieve. These are not trivial hurdles, but fundamental constraints requiring sustained innovation and a re-evaluation of what constitutes safe and reliable long-duration human spaceflight beyond Earth's protective sphere. Until these core issues are rigorously addressed through advanced research and development, the Red Planet will continue to be a destination primarily for our robotic emissaries. If this exploration into the true complexities of human Mars missions resonated with you, we invite you to Dissect Official to ensure we can continue to bring you in-depth analyses of humanity's greatest endeavors. Given the multifaceted challenges discussed, what single technological breakthrough do you believe would most significantly accelerate our ability to send humans safely to Mars and back? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the realities of interplanetary travel. We look forward to exploring more frontiers with you next time. Join us again as we unravel the intricate engineering that allows our robotic voyagers to transmit their incredible discoveries from across the solar system.